A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house. I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh, 不能再推回去了，没有做这么精致，是不是？反正做得很好哎。
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know, or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
This is a 条小路，下去看看哈。可以这样随便走的欸。Missing.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
到处都是那个小孩不见的传单。
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent, as if they're about to say something but never do.
Milton 不见了。好暗哦。
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
啊，他怕这个房子。哦，风铃的声音啊，风铃的声音。
I heard something moving around in the garage.
有东西在车库里移动。
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Huh?
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
所以钥匙不是这里的。完了，所以我要从哪里进去这个房子啊？进不去这个房子，直接离岸了。有后门那种东西吗？
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
啊。
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Huh?
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Finch， 他死掉了吗？他不是 missing 而已吗？
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
太多了吧。
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
After it sank. 啊，原本的房子。哦，原本房子长这个样子。
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
龙卷风.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
我说 Milton 是我的兄弟。Milton。 Edith 是我是不是？
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Calvin.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
这长得也太奇怪了吧 ？Gregory 的房子。 我的吗？
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
哦，还有一个一个标示的。Molly
always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
金鱼。
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
啊，竟然是说。
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
那怎么啦？
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
啊，他弟弟很会画画哎。
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
所以我是很饿，是不是？
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I kept eating and eating.
我把牙膏也吃掉了。
I ate a lot of things that night.
你怎么乱吃啊？这个东西是有毒的吧？这孩子。 太饿了吧？他还挤了牙膏。
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly,
啊！我变成猫咪
I was
了
a。cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Vale.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Vale. Ừ, 它到那里去了。
The babies were all gone.
小鸟都长大了。
I jumped and I almost got her.
"没办法上桌子吗？对对对，我游戏没有声音。有啊，怎么会没有声音？我输出有开啊。白痴啊！白痴哦！我想说我输出有
I
开。
could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
在哪里？啊！找到了。
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
"4公里。
A mama rabbit. was too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Oh.哦，不是你这样要怎么走？
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
I刚刚下面有一个鱼呀、啊，要这样子潜。 哎，很晕。这是什么海豹哦？
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
去哪了？去哪了？哇，没去呀！啊，海豹嘞？啊，这里了。 鲨鱼不好控啊！鲨鱼这个，啊！
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
哦，我到底有多饿？
So hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
我是什么东西？章鱼啊，蛇。
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
吓我一跳！
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor, his belly with a rusty razor. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Put him in the captain star. Put him in the captain star.
不是，为什么我不能吃这个人？吓我一跳！我靠北，他怎么会不要突然这样？
Passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
这不是我，这不是我吗？这不是我房间吗？
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
啊，所以他是被怪物吃掉的，是不是？
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here. This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
啊，他妈妈看过这些故事。
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Johan.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
他把房子装在船上。
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Wow, 家族的历史。
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
一个的鸟笼 ，build。
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Refuses to evacuate because a little forest fire.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
很有创意的一家人啊。
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Wow! 太酷了吧！
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Milton， Milton 也来过这里啊？他弟弟是第一个把这个房间里面都探索的人哎。
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
好可爱 ，Calvin。
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Will 飞出去吗？
The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
它飞出去啦！会数翘翘的吧？
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Ah. 在干嘛？
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
哦，他长大了。
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Huh?
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
好可怕！
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh!
吓死我！
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
Hey, hello, how you doing?
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Okay,
怎么了？
I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
我要前进了，我要去楼上。好，下。
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand.
Walter White
Residents are
是
urged
什
to
么
lock all doors and windows
绝
and
命
notify the
毒
police
师
of
吗
any suspicious activity.
啊！
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
那怎么办？
Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow.
怎么办？
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
所以怎么样？我现在要干嘛？ 我现在下去揍死他，是不是？嘿嘿！啊，他不见了！
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was. At the door, she heard whispering.
什么东西？
It was coming from inside the house.
啊！ No!
Oh dear.
Surprise! 哦，吓死了！
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of
Oh
course,
my
the police
God.
blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
No!
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Oh my god! Oh,
Edie
所
told
以
me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
哦，所以他在那个晚上被那个团伙给袭击了，就对了。我天啊，他还用那个双关呢。他说she likes to be the taste of the star， 他喜欢当明星的滋味。他的粉丝们也是。哦，这故事太吓人了吧！那他弟弟，这个回去的应该是 Water。
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
啊，因为
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
我应该先出来这里再进去，是不是？哦 ，Kelvin 的房间我来过，这一半的房间。所以我们现
It's
在
funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
对，我们现在要去找地下室。哎，怎么这样转？
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
啊，这是那个冰
I
箱。
thought maybe she was hiding presents.
嗯，
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
里面有一个门呐、怎么会这样？好黑哦！
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
啊，大家都还是在这个房子里。
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
天啊，他待在下面30年啊！
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
你是说那个歌吗？你说他背景那个歌吗？
But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Walter 的声音好听诶。7TV 是什么？
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
今天没有那个诶，没有火车震动。啊，
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting.
喂，我要出去了吗？
I have to leave while I still can.
他从那之后很害怕，他就一直躲在地下室。哎，
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe
还
this
是有
is
开
all
着
a
呢，
mistake.
我不知道这个可能。
But I need to stop living the same day,
所以我在
even
干
if
嘛
it？ kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
这不是火车轨道吗？
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
他是被火车撞死的啊！我的天啊！
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
还有1、2、3、4、5、6、7，还有7个故事哎。 Edith 是我吗？
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
很老。他们家的人。
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house... I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
我只能想象，这里不应该用认为。
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
应该是想象。 我会把东西丢在这里。
Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two.
啊，因为他弟弟
I
失
thought it
踪
was
了。
time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
回去房子
And
本
look
身
at the house. Had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Ah.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
所以这个是小动物。
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly 的有一个猫咪 ，Calvin 是太空。哦，他们这个上面都有 他们个人的特色哎。窝头人为什么是有个小人，隧道里面小人，哇，做得很细耶！这个Barbara是个明星，所以用这个。
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
旧房子吗？
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
他们的旧房子。
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gregory, Sam 跟 Gus， 他们是打仗死掉的吗？
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Louis 好像也没有找到，Louis也不见了。
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
啊，我怀孕啦！这个女主角才17岁。 她才17岁。
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though. Aw.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I...
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. Dad!
Your eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just... Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
You don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh my god!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Oh 我的天啊！
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
哎，真的。这个猫咪标本。Airline ticket. K.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Gregory 的房子。 的小宝宝。
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
什么宝宝跟什么东西？什么脸？
It's time to. Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
swore he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
他这一段好像是他是那个阅读有障碍，所以他的字会乱排。
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
对，直接飞走哎！这是他们每天要做的事情啊。动的怎么没有东西？啊，他妈妈。
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Ah.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
所以他爸爸是印度人。
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
哦，所以他失去了 Louis， 又
When
失
my
去了
dad
没有
died,
成。
I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. and to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
Our family history, fact or fiction? It is Gus, Barbara, Sam, Gregory, Louis.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
猫眼超超可怕，是窥视孔啊！哇，其实很棒哎。
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Nice， 我要这样。这还是好难哦！我要一直疯狂的刷。我手快抽筋啊！是，我坐的空间就有一点点。哦，它就不见了啦。
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Oh, 所以 Milton 就这样不见了，画到成仙，应该也不是，他就是为什么失踪啊
Mom spent months searching for my brother.
今天有要上课吗？可以啊，但晚一点，我等下先去吃饭。
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
所以Milton的房间在哪里？谢谢干爹。所以Milton的房间在哪里啊？上面还有一层。
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
因为这个房子结构也是蛮妙的，一层一层一直叠上去那种感觉。Is this 水源
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly.
台风来一次，重盖一次。
He died a lot.
龙卷风来一次，也要重盖一次。路易斯是游戏菜鸡啊。
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
跟你上班的时候一样是怎样？
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
变立体的。
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
要怎么样才能上去？这边。
I spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Louis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
啊，你看那个幻想占的空间越来越大了。
He told me he'd made a new friend. on the edge of a city he named Lewis-topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Huh?
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
对啊，把工作的地方越来越那个。
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination.
然后嘞
So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Lewis-topia.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Huh?
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. but he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
我已经看不到了。
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
是他迷失在自己的。
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
什么超像很车吧，完全车吧。
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Molly!
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
天啊，他把自己的头切掉吗？
Bend down his head.
天哪！
Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
哦，他被这种被逼疯了的感觉。
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him. 哇，他们家族这个哇！可是我好像差不多快结束了，但我得去吃饭了。哇，竟然是！现在是这样吗？现在是这样结束的吗？这有一种被生活慢慢逼疯的感觉。所以人一直在一成不变的环境下，有些人确实可能是会逼疯的吧。 My mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
他妈妈不想再留在这个地方了。
But I understand why we left.
难怪你上次吃罐头店乱讲哎，这是鱼的眼球啊！
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
哦，那我快玩完了，我感觉可以把它玩完。
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
他那里有 excuse 就是你可以离开的意思，我是原谅你。所以我要去走廊找礼物。
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sailed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
是啊，在这种木质的房子里面。 放那么多蜡烛在这个房子里面，怎么可以？
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
这游戏时长不长哎。
I lost my way.
No.
I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
这雪人好丑啊
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it.
为什么?
I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
伊迪丝死了。哦，所以我是原来这样。这是我的妈妈留给我的日记本啊。这是工作人员小时候的照片。哎呀，很不错哎。这应该没有所谓的多结局吧？这个我游戏应该就这样子了吧？就是看了一个家族的故事的感觉。蛮有意思的耶Milton， 所以 Milton 到底去哪里了？ Milton 失踪之后，我们就没有再找到他了。 他的成就这样有一个是可以是看名字这样子。他们家族有个诅咒。怎么了？过来。呀！太生气了吧？干嘛啦？还蛮有意思的一个游戏，虽然它很短，但是我觉得还蛮有意思的。可以耶，就是特价的时候不贵，我觉得可以去买来玩一玩。就这个时长跟他给的体验，确实是蛮有意思的。就你感觉不会从中得到什么很大的快乐或什么的。不要喊啊！我没有生气啊，我没有生气。我觉得这个游戏很不错啊。我觉得这个你说没洗吗？没事啊。他就是被我抱起来，有时候会觉得烦。可以耶，如果就这个品质确实是不错，我觉得很不错，但也是他们每一个人的故事用一种很特别的方式在表达。It is ending 结束啦，很不错，不错，这个真的是不错。没事。重玩故事的选项可以选择 Easy 是从头开始游戏这个会有不同的结局之类的吗？会有隐藏的部分是不是？但因为要准备吃饭了，差不多就这样。还有 K 跟 Svan 哦，还有3J 是不是？还有3J， 还有3个人的故事是不是？还不错啊，这游戏。但我可能会直接去找一下它这个，如果重玩游戏的话，会有什么那个吧？这个游戏时长还可以啦，就是你做了一个体验还 OK 啊，我觉得还 OK。这个跟我在网络上看的评价，原则上感受差不多啦。还行，但可能要去找一些小彩蛋什么之类，或是想要看更深的含义什么的，可能就去找个看有没有人家的解析吧。但不错，可以。好啦，我要去吃饭啦，大家也去吃饭吧。先这样啦，啵啵啵。